softball coaches, let's talk about what you should or should not say in a post-game meeting with your fast pitch team. All right, so this is a cultural thing, right? So I was a player. I played D1. I played pro baseball. I was also the academy owner of a baseball and softball academy. So we had baseball and softball teams. And so I've been on both sides of this, right? These post-game meetings, sometimes they drag on, and maybe you won or you lost, doesn't matter. And you're just like, can we leave, please? So the question is, what is the right balance? What should we be doing as softball coaches to, A, help our team get better, but B, keep girls engaged and make them feel like this is a fun experience that they want to be a part of, right? Because sometimes when we play terrible and then we have to hear Coach drone on about it for 15 more minutes, this just becomes a drag, right? So let's talk about some of the do's and don'ts about post-game meetings. So number one, keep it short. Think real hard about stuff that needs to be corrected in real time when emotions are high. Whether high or low, players want to go have ice cream with their friends, or they want to go sulk in their room by themselves if they played terrible. But either way, emotions are usually somewhere off of their baseline after a game, right? So at the very least, I'd say keep it really short. Give yourself a time limit and stick to it, whether it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I hope it's not 10 minutes, but just keep it short and make that your policy and stick to it. 4 minutes. So what do I want to fit into that 4 minutes? It'll help you be concise as a coach and respect the parents' time and your players' time. And again, not bombard them with information that they're probably not really ready to receive when their emotions are high or low. So just keep it short and pick out a time that you feel is appropriate for you as a coach. Number two, really ask yourself, is this the time to correct mistakes? If emotions are really running high and they're really upset or whatever, is this really the best time to have this talk? Couldn't you have this talk on Tuesday at our next practice? Or could you just make notes and then pull players aside individually next time? Just remember, the kids are smart. They know what went wrong for the most part, right? And reviewing it in real time may help. It may not. It just depends. So I'm just leaving this out there for you. Is this the right time? Really think hard about this question. Just because your coach always did these meetings with you, coaches always did them with me, does that mean that I have to carry that torch and continue to do that? Not necessarily. For me as a travel coach, we didn't have post-game meetings most of the time. I was just like, hey, get out of here. Have fun tonight. Go whatever. I let them decompress, and then we would discuss stuff at another time. Maybe it's the next game before our next game. Maybe it's the next day, right? If we have a tournament and we play like crap on Friday and there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about, we can talk about it Saturday morning when they're waiting for us to start pregame, right? Maybe that's a better time where they've gotten time to decompress, think through it themselves, emotions have cooled down. Hey, last game, we missed the cutoff man a couple of times. That hurts us, right? Right? They get an extra base. Now the double play is not in order, right? So let's make sure today we're really working on hitting the cutoff man, right? Those are just as easy conversations to have the next day than the day of, right after the game. So just ask yourself, could I have some of these at different times and would they be just as effective? Next thing, and this is my biggest thing, you need to be positive. We don't need so much negativity. And yes, you do want to improve things and correct things, but in a post-game speech, what if you only pointed out the positive things that players did well, right? And then you left the corrections to address a team practice. What if you did it that way? Wouldn't players maybe come away from a loss feeling, okay, I still feel good about what we did as a team, and I still feel like I control the things I could control, and they're going to know the stuff that they didn't do well, right? Maybe not everything, but they're still going to know when they made some mental mistakes, they made some base running errors, they had rough at bats where they were unfocused and grounded out on the first pitch. They're going to still remember that stuff, but can you give them effort-based goals and reward some of that effort? So, hey, Tina, I saw you backing up third base every time today as a left fielder. I love the effort. That's going to win us games because we're going to have overthrows and Tina's always going to be there. I love that, right? Pitcher, I know we had a rough fifth inning, but you continue to stay positive and you're still pounding the strike zone. You were still battling even though they were hitting you. That kind of intensity and mental focus and emotional control, that's what we need to win games. It wasn't our day-to-day, but that was really good. You battled, right? Can you point out some of those positive things that are effort-based, that are intensity-based, that are focus-based, right? Not every player is going to get a hit every game. Not every player even has the capacity to be a star player. So for your players that were not stars, Can you point out the little things that they do that make them feel seen, that make them feel like they're a valued member of your team? The post-game speech is a great place to do that, right? The players that just get the bunt down, but they went 0 for 3 and they moved a runner along. Can you point that out? Like, hey, love that. Like, we need to make sure we get those bunts down and you crushed it. Appreciate that about you, right? All the little things, there's a million little things in softball. Can you point them out and find things to be positive about? You can do this throughout the game. It's called positive charting. This is one of the Positive Coaching Alliance's big things. I do workshops for them. I love so much of their core message, but have a list of things you're looking for as a coach, right? It could be different for every player, or it could be for your team in general, and make notes during the game, not just of things that we screwed up, but like of good things, right? She backed up that base. She tried to go first to third and she was thrown out, but I saw the effort. I knew she was reading the play. We talked about that in practice, and she executed on that first to third that we wanted to. It just didn't pan out, but I love the effort. I love the intensity, right? Can you find things for every player that were positive during the game? Tina sat the bench, but she was cheering and engaged and focused the whole game, and she was ready to pinch hit if I needed her to, even though we didn't end up needing her, right? You can find ways to make every player feel valued every single game, and I would encourage you to do that. And one last thing that you can do is an activity called the winner's circle. And this is where players go around and they all point out something that they saw a teammate do that was good. And this is a great part of your team culture because now it gets players looking for positive things rather than looking for flaws in each other. This is especially powerful in bad games, right? Okay, so after the game, all 12 of our players, we're going to do winner's circle. Everyone has to get a compliment. So I'm going to, point out something that our left fielder did, and then our right fielder is going to point out something our catcher did. Our catcher is going to point out something that our player on the bench did, just being engaged, being a good teammate. We're all going to point out something so everyone walks away with one positive thing from our teammates. And that can be a really empowering way to, again, continue to boost morale, continue to get players to pick themselves up, to build this positive sportsmanship and teammate culture where it's not all on you as a coach, right? Coach, you could give a couple quick ones, and players could all give one each, right? So that's a good way to do it. But think hard overall. My big message here in this video is, do you need to have a post-game speech at all, right? Players are tired, especially after long days. Sometimes it's just better to cut them loose, let them go have fun, decompress, and you could debrief on some of the things you want to improve on the next day, right? Think about whether that could maybe work for you. Can you point out things and reward things with public praise that are effort-based, that are focus-based, that are attitude-based? Because those are the things players really control. They're going to make mistakes. They're not always going to go 4 for 4. But can you still find things that they had within their control that were good? And there's so many of them every single game. But if you're rewarding hustle, you're rewarding effort, you're rewarding resilience, you're rewarding their attitude after they make an error, after they strike out, after they have a bad inning as a pitcher, if you're rewarding the things they can control and seeing them, your team is going to continue to put in a lot of effort because they know as long as I try hard, coach appreciates me. They're going to continue to try harder and harder and harder. You'll have better practices. You'll have kids practicing more at home, and your team will continue to win more games and get better. So I think at the end of the day, a positive post-game speech or no post-game speech, and then a delayed speech to the next day where it's a mix of corrections and positive stuff, those are probably going to pay off the biggest in the long run. But again, let me know how you do things. Leave a comment below, share this video with a friend, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you here in the next video.